active recovery around it called pericardium. And I do not know if you remember, I think with your group, I did bring the lungs, didn't I? I think you had a look at the lungs. And I think at least one of the samples we had of lungs had the remains of that sac of pericardium. Do you recall something like that? And I think I was telling people that, you know, that membrane you can see in front of you is pericardium, so the heart would have been inside it. So if I wanted to have a very sort of quick drawing, so imagine heart would be there, and then around the heart you'll have this membrane, the pericardium. And then in between, so that area here, and it's probably not as big as that, I'm sort of exaggerating a little bit, just for the purposes of being able to draw it clearly. But inside that sac, between the heart muscle itself and the pericardium, you have some fluid, so-called pericardial fluid. Pericardial fluid. Can one of you suggest why do you think you need fluid there?
Protection.
Protection, cushioning, good idea. What else? Think about what heart is constantly doing.
Okay.
Right? And therefore, what do you think that fluid would be serving? Why would you need it? Think about something, any moving parts in your car, for example. What do you have to put in your engine?
Is it like a lubricant?
Exactly that, right? So any moving part, think about your engine, right? So because you've got lots of moving parts there, you have to have lubrication. You've got to have way of making sure that movement is easy and it's not sort of touching and bumping into things around it. So that pericardial fluid, you're right, it serves the kind of function of cushioning, protection, but it also serves as lubricant. Okay. So pericardium has got some cells which are constantly replenishing and producing that fluid. There is a particular condition, I can't remember its name from the top of my head, but there is a condition where pericardium starts to overproduce that fluid, sometimes due to autoimmune response, for example. And that means that that fluid starts to push on the heart muscle and does not allow heart to contract and relax properly, and that could cause ultimately heart to stop. And it's very easily fixable because all you can do is just insert a little tube into that cavity, into that pericardium area, and just drain some of this fluid, and you should be back to normal. Anyway, so that's a little bit about the heart and what you find around it. Okay. So again, I'm going to wipe it off. Is that okay? Yeah, is that be able to pick me up with it? Okay. Okay, so the next section we are going to look at the major blood vessels which are coming into the heart or leaving the heart. So major blood vessels in the heart. Major blood vessels of the heart. What I'll do in order to simplify the drawings a little bit, I'm going to draw major blood vessels coming in and leaving atria first, the top two chambers, and then I'll do a separate drawing for ventricles. Okay, so it's not like both of them are happening at the same time. Both of them are still located in the heart, but it's just for the sake of simplicity, not to overcrowd one particular drawing. So let's do first, which is to do with atria. Atria, okay? So again, I'm going to draw my tilted egg, the heart, right? Leave yourself a bit of space at the top because some of the labels, obviously we're talking about atria, so therefore we need to have blood vessels coming into or leaving atria, therefore we need to have a bit of space at the top of that drawing. So make sure you're not sort of positioning it right to the edge of the page. Okay, so my tilted egg with a cross showing the four chambers. And I'm going to start with that particular chamber, so you might have to look back to the drawings we've done for the circulations. And guys, on the video, you'll have to do the same. So you'll have to try to answer my questions at the same time, okay? So keep up with it, not just wait for people in class to answer, but actually think for yourselves as well, okay? So, starting with this one, Terry, what is this chamber? Right atrium. Laura, is blood coming in or is it leaving? You don't have to, if you can't remember, look up your notes. Okay? It's coming in. Blue blood or red blood? Blue blood. So therefore I'm going to use blue color. And I'm going to be showing that that blood is coming in. You're absolutely right. And that's going to be my first blood vessel. So I'm going to start making a list of names of these blood vessels on the side. If you haven't quite got enough space on your page, just write them down as a list, at the bottom below that diagram. So number one, anybody has got an idea actually? Any idea? No? Okay. So I'm just going to tell you. So it's called superior vena cava. Superior vena cava, or some people say cava, I don't know, depends on how you want to pronounce it. Superior vena cava. Right, vena because it's like vein. Cava, I don't know. Think about champagne. That's what I think about usually. Right. So let's think. So it's going to be bringing in deoxygenated blood, right, into right atrium. Where is it bringing from? Is it bringing it from lungs or from the rest of the body? The rest of the body, exactly right. So let's write that little bit of information down. So it's bringing deoxygenated blood into the right atrium. And it's not just bringing blood from all of the rest of the body, it's only bringing blood from all the organs from diaphragm up. So I need to somehow write that down as well. From the organs located above the diaphragm. Now, when I'm talking about organs located above the diaphragm, does that include lungs? Yes or no? No, exactly, right? Because remember, it's bringing blood from the rest of the body, which means everything other than lungs. So it means things like your brain, your eyes, your ears, your arms, your hands, etc. Okay. Right, now your right atrium has got another big blood vessel also bringing deoxygenated blood in. So I'm going to name it or label it number 2. Right, so let's think together what that one might be called. So we had superior vena cava, and then we also need inferior vena cava, right? So if you think about the words, so my superior means my boss, right? Something above me. My inferior means somebody who is working for me, right? Below me. So inferior vena cava. Right, where do you think that vena cava is going to be bringing blood from? So this one was bringing blood from the organs above your diaphragm, therefore inferior is going to be
Lungs. Lungs.
We're still bringing blood from the rest of the body. right? So have a look at the systemic circulation drawing. So everything coming into right atrium comes from the rest of your body. Can you see that? Yeah? Are you with me? Yep, okay. But superior is bringing blood from above your diaphragm. This one is going to be
Below.
from below the diaphragm. Exactly right. So can I leave you to write down sort of equivalent statement, but the one which applies to inferior vena cava? So think about, is it bringing blood from somewhere, which kind of blood it is, deoxygenated, oxygenated, where it's coming from. Okay, Terry, do you mind reading out? What did you say about inferior vena cava? What's your statement?
Brings the oxygenated blood into the right atrium
Yep,
from organs below.
below diaphragm. Yeah, good. So something along those lines. Okay, so I'm gonna next move on to my next chamber. So I'm still talking about atria. So we've dealt now with the right side. Let's move on to the left side. Okay, Laura, is blood coming in or is it leaving? Again, if you're not sure, go back to the diagrams we did for circulations. It's
Leaving.
Have a look, don't guess. Have a look at the
It's
diagrams.
coming
Right?
It's coming out.
Well, coming out means like this way.
Yeah. What it's going into.
Have a look at the pulmonary circulation. Can you see it? Let me
It
just
goes
see.
from the heart to the lungs.
Which one are you looking at? Let me see. So this chamber is coming in or leaving? Let's see.
It's going in.
Going in, right. Yeah. So it's coming in. And Terry, is that oxygenated or deoxygenated blood which is coming in? And where is it coming from?
The left atrium.
No, coming from
Oh, I know that one.
lungs. Absolutely right. Okay, I think we got there in the end. So we've got oxygenated blood, so meaning red, right? So I need red pen. It's coming in, and it's coming in from the lungs. So I hope you managed to kind of find it in your previous slides. Okay. And you actually have 4 blood vessels which are bringing that blood in. So that's what I'll have to draw. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And they're collectively known as, so I'm going to put number 3 for my third label. So these blood vessels are collectively known. Let's try to figure out what they're known as. So the blood is coming from the lungs. Which word do you think I'm going to be using? Something to do with lungs. Pulmonary. If I have blood coming towards the heart, is it vein or artery? Coming towards the heart, leaving the heart is artery, coming towards the heart, vein. So, but because I've got 4 of them, it's not just one vein, it's veins, because I've got 4 main ones, okay, veins. So they're collectively known, those 4 big blood vessels, they're collectively known as pulmonary veins. Now this is what some people find a bit confusing, because normally you associate arteries with blood vessels which are carrying oxygenated blood and veins with blood vessels which are associated with carrying deoxygenated blood. This is one exception. So this is one type of veins which carry oxygenated blood. There's no any other veins in your body which do that, just the pulmonary veins. Okay? Now, could you write similar sort of statement to what we did before, but the one which applies to pulmonary veins? Do you think you could do that for me? Okay. Laura, do you want to read out, what did you say for pulmonary veins? How did you phrase it?
Bring oxygenated blood into the left atrium from the lungs.
From the lungs, good. Okay, perfect. Right, so that's atria dealt with, right? So we're going to do another drawing for ventricles. I could have carried on and drawn it on the same diagram, but it's just going to make everything look really, really crowded. So that's why I'm going to separate them out. So next drawing, let me just wipe this off. Wipe this off. So this time we are looking at the major blood vessels coming in or leaving ventricles. So ventricles this time. So again, same shape. Again, leave yourself a bit of space at the top because some of the labels are going to be towards the top of my tilted egg, which is as before represents the heart. So again, same thing, same shape, same starting point. Again, use the drawings we did for the circulations to work out the next lot of questions. So let's start with this one. Terry, you'll have to help me with this one. What is the name of this chamber to start with? Which one? Right ventricle. Good. Laura, is blood leaving the heart away from the right ventricle, or is it coming into the right ventricle? What's happening here?
Going out.
Going out. And which color is it? Blue. And it's going towards
the lungs.
towards the lung. So I need to use blue color. I'm going to start my drawing here with the right ventricle. And then very quickly, just as it's leaving, it's going to split further into blood vessels, a bit like that. So which number did we have? We stopped at 3, didn't we, in the previous drawing? Is this right? Yeah, so I'm going to carry on with that counting. Okay, so 3. I'll call it 4. Let me just think how to name it. I'll call it like this, 4 and 5. I'll do it that way. So 4 is known as, again, what do you think the term is going to be since we're going towards the lungs? Pulmonary again. So it's pulmonary trunk. Let me show you with arrows that the blood is leaving, by the way. Quite a good thing to do. Splits into the right and the left pulmonary. I need you to help me out a little bit. What do you think the next word is going to be? So I'm talking about vessel which is taking blood away from the heart. Is that going to be artery or vein?
Artery.
Artery. So there are pulmonary arteries. And that's going to be number 5. So 4 before it splits, 5 after it splits. On a lot of drawings at level 3, they don't talk about pulmonary trunk at all, they don't mention it, just to be aware. So they often just label right and left pulmonary arteries, so just so that you're aware of that. Again, the same note as I made before. Normally, we think about arteries as carrying oxygenated blood and veins as carrying deoxygenated blood. So pulmonary arteries is the only exception. So they're the only arteries which carry blue deoxygenated blood. The rest of the arteries in your body are going to be carrying oxygenated red blood only. Right, are you happy to do me a little statement again? Where the blood is coming from, where it's going to, etc. Okay, so similar to what we did with all the previous labels. Okay, good. So with one more blood vessel to tackle. Right, Terry, you will have to help me with this one. Laura did the most of the previous one. Again, which chamber is that? Left ventricle. Is blood leaving or coming in? Have a look. Don't guess. You're guessing. Have a look at those drawings we've done for the systemic and pulmonary circulation. Right, it's going out of the heart or coming into the heart? Going out of the heart. And it's going out of the heart, from the heart to where? To the rest of the body. And final question, red blood or blue blood? Red blood, okay? So I need to draw one more blood vessel. I'll sort of move it that way, so it sort of overlaps a little bit because they go almost like in a crisscross, that pulmonary trunk and that last blood vessel. So it's red blood coming out of my left ventricle, and that's going to be number 6, so the last label, 6. Okay, so number 4 applies to that one, number 6 to that one, number 5 to these two, just to make it clear. Okay, any suggestions? What do we call that blood vessel? That's the one which most people know the name of. Any ideas at all? Absolutely right. Now I'm going to give you kind of full name, which sometimes at level 3 books is not mentioned, but I think I might as well give you the proper term if you like. So it's called ascending aorta. Or just simply aorta. On majority of diagrams at level 3, it's just going to be saying aorta or simply. So ascending is more kind of a medical term, if you like, because you also have abdominal aorta, another term, which is sometimes used, so it's just to distinguish between the two terms. Again, same thing, would you be able to give me a quick statement, a sentence, saying what kind of blood it is, where it's going from, where it's going to? Right, once you've done that statement, then we're going to start looking at the cardiovascular system worksheet. So this is found on VLE, and it's both in the print section, but I think it's also further down where you've got resources for the cardiovascular system. So the question we're going to look at, let me just find the printout. Okay, that's visible. So what you'll need to do is go and print out a copy of this worksheet, and you're going to start looking at this question 1, where we are labeling the structures. So use all the terminology we've covered up to this point to label the structures. So my suggestion here is to find the 4 chambers to start with. I think that'll make your life a lot easier. And once you found the chambers, then start figuring out what all the numbers are for different blood vessels.